Welcome back to Fire to Fork. This is a weird one for me. I'm heading down south to go and cook lunch. And the reason it's weird is that, as I'm sure you know, a couple of weeks ago I picked up the 300 series. And a couple of days ago I actually cancelled a couple of, well-paid sponsorships. And the reason I cancelled them was nothing to do with gear, nothing to do with anything like that. It was just that it was a bit too corporate. I didn't really like the way that it was being managed, and so it was kind of cramping my style. And it made me realise how bloody important it is to not focus on the money and the gear, and really to focus on how to get out there and enjoy yourself. And that is the theme of today's episode. Now, I've got some expensive gear. I've used a lot of expensive gear, and it is really nice to use, don't get me wrong. But today, we're not using it. We are using something I bought off Facebook Marketplace for $10. And this is the point. Go and get yourself an old cast iron pan. Go and get yourself a pot. Get yourself a cheap gas cooker and get out there and bloody cook some delicious food. You do not need the best. So let's cook a really delicious lunch on the cheapest camping cookware I can find. Pretty barren and dry out here. Just down at Lake Navarino. So it has been a stinking hot week and we can't have fires, and that's fine. Again, doing a simple cheap gas cooker cook-up that will not sacrifice the food quality. Now let's see if I can get through this lake without getting bogged. Oh, that looks boggy. This place is just the boggiest place ever. Whenever you're crossing around here, make sure you go in a place that is well worn. Find yourself a good spot, because you cannot go through the muddy bits around Lake Navarino. You will get stuck. And I've pulled many an idiot out of it. Go for it! Go for it, boy. Ugh. Disappointing. At least that's easily fixed. See what the water's like. Oh man. It's so muddy. Freddie's going to get so muddy. I don't actually care, but it's lovely in here. Found a nice little flat spot by the water. Let's get cooking. I'm really hungry. Been meaning to do this for ages, and I'm just going to do it now. If you have a bush company awning, do yourself a favour. Find your mankiest, crappiest, cheapest ratchet strap and cut the hooks off it. This is a garbage strap. These hooks are actually quite expensive. These straps are very cheap. Get your hook, loop it onto your ropes. That'll never be removed. But the important thing is these are rubber coated so they don't hurt your roof rack. Done. Whew. Nice to be in the shade. It was bloody hot. What are we cooking on? This. I got this from Bunnings for, I want to say, $15 or $20 2.5 years ago to do the Delika trip Cape Yorkshire Tassie. Never used it. We all know what it is. It's a cheap butane cooker. Test it. Bloody beautiful. My $10 cast iron pan. Beautiful. Now, I did forget to bring a pot, so forgive me, I am going to use a kettle to make hot water, but that's just because I forgot to bring like a $1 pot. Now, the idea here is you're spending money on the ingredients, not on this stuff. So, what are we cooking? We're going to cook a steak. This is a beautiful bit of Wagyu. It cost 23 bucks. This other stuff cost about 5. I'm not even going to use my fancy knife. I am going to use my bloody Leatherman. So, pinch your mum's knife, whatever. Simple knife. Again, it's not about the gear. Start with a spring onion because we're going to make ourselves a nice little seasoning sauce for our steak. That wind's going to be interesting when I get this crappy gas cooker out. Actually, I say crappy, but they're great. They're great. They put out lots of heat. They cost nothing. They're a bit bulky, but they weigh bugger all. You can, if they break, no one's crying over it. Well, look, would I trust my life with it? No. Do I care? No. Is this knife very average for cooking? Yes. Get all those, chuck them into something. And to that, we're going to add some of this Kewpie Japanese dressing. This is like a sesame seed dressing, and it is crack. It is one of the nicest things you can put in your face. It's not gluten-free, unfortunately, but it is fantastic. Oh, they're just the best. So we'll go about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of that. Bit of salt, say a teaspoon. Bit of pepper, probably another teaspoon. I was trying to find some soy sauce, can't find it. We could chuck a little bit of oil in here. This is avocado oil, actually. A place called Cherry Creek, which is a veterans run property that grows avocados and makes lovely oils. They sent it to me with no strings attached, which was very nice of them. Lovely. But I'm going to chuck a bit more salt in there to counter it, to sort of act as the soy. Beautiful, beautiful. Next, noodles. Got some little packet of udon noodles here. You know what that needs? That needs a bit of lemon. A little bit of wind, and these things are pretty crap in the wind, so you go do the old hack. Get that hot, oil in there. Okay, let's chuck some lemon in this quickly while I'm waiting for that to get hot. I'm the only one eating this, so I can do this. It's so good. You want to get this pan really hot. So as soon as that oil starts to smoke, we're good to go. Open up the steak, pat it dry. Get this out of the way. Oh, starting to smoke. Good sign. Salt. pepper, season side down. Now, I was telling my vegan friend how to cook a steak the other day. It's a weird sentence to say, but and she said, you know, what's the trick? How many minutes each side? Blah blah blah. And it made me realise that I have no idea how many minutes each side. I just do it completely on feel and colour. So, if you want to cook a steak properly, get your pan as hot as you can. Turn it when it's coloured, and that's it. That's the only rule. Get a sear on it. If your pan is as hot as it can go, make sure that you've got the right colour. The internal temperature matters less than a good Maillard reaction and a good sear on the outside. This is if you want medium rare, as hot as you can, get it coloured right, and you can always cook it a little bit more later if you want it a bit more well done. But the most important thing is get that flavour, get that caramelisation on the outside, and then take it off. You can deal with everything else on the back end. I'd prefer a medium well steak with a perfect sear to a medium rare steak that was beige on the outside. Now I've got a bit of a sear on one side. Hopefully you can see that. I'll do the other side. And just before the end, I'm going to put in a nice big knob of butter. Look at that sear. That crust is stunning. So, take this off and rest it. While we finish the rest of it. Turn this down. Chuck in some miso. So a bit of miso paste. Oh. We're going to make a miso butter. Pour out this water. Tiny bit of water. Noodles. Lemon juice. Pull the pip out. Get rid of that burnt bit of miso. Now, let's get this steak. We'll carve it up. Nice little thin slices. That is perfectly cooked and feels very tender. Chuck your noodles in. Now, on top of the noodles, we want to lay our steak. A bit of lemon juice over the top of steak is always a good idea, particularly with Wagyu. Followed by our dressing. Now, gratuitous B-roll. Beer Farm IPA, my new favourite staple IPA. So good. That is such a good way to eat steak. The noodles are creamy, the sauce is also creamy. Lots of sesame in there, bit of freshness from the lemon. The spring onions sort of have a bit of zest in them.
Those noodles are so creamy. It's an excellent meal. And this is really cheap. This bowl of food cost more than my cooking setup today. I'm proud of that. Goes exceptionally with beer. I'm going to give that an 8.6 out of 10 for how well it pairs with beer, not the meal. The meal is I don't rate my own meals. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'd do to improve it. I love it. I just love it. Maybe some Asian greens for a bit of extra freshness, but it doesn't need it. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it real. Get out there, enjoy it, eat well. Don't let gear hold you back. See you in the next one. I'm gonna wash this in the lake, I think.